Welcome to BBC Motor Reviews channel. Triumph Rocket 3, 2020 on review. Suspension, steering and stopping are all worlds ahead of the previous Rocket 3, and as a result it now feels like a laughably large but comprehensively capable motorcycle, rather than a cartoon cruiser caricature. Related, 2020 Triumph Rocket 3 TFC News on MCN. First impressions might be dominated by the rocket's vast proportions and the curiosity factor of cramming a motor larger than a typical family car between two wheels, but after a day spent studying the quality details, experiencing the meticulously managed power and appreciating the enormous improvements in refinement, you walk away feeling thoroughly impressed. The new Rocket 3 is exciting, eye-catching, attention-grabbing and pulse-raising, yet avoids straying into feeling frivolous, ridiculous, or pointless. Forget the previous Triumph Rocket 3's cumbersome bulk, heavy-handed handling, basic running gear and Romanesque name badge. The new Rocket 3's chassis is totally different. A cast aluminium spine frame replaces the old twin steel tubes, helping contribute to an incredible 40 kilograms saving over the previous bike, while steering geometry is sharper and the wheelbase is shorter. As a result, the Rocket now has a proper appetite for corners the old bike couldn't dream of. Turn-in is easy, holding a line mid-corner needs little inside bar pressure, and flick-flacking from full lean left to right, and still ending up where you intended, is absurdly accurate for a bike with a fueled weight north of 320 kilograms. Suspension is by Showa, with 47mm adjustable upside-down forks up front, and an adjustable monoshock monitoring the shaft drive. No electronic adjustment though, the clickers are all manual. The front's set pretty firm, meaning you can haul hard on the flagship Brembo Stylema front brakes. Even the rear brake is a 4-pot radially mounted caliper, to generate huge stopping force without the bike trying to tie itself in knots. Ride quality is generally good, though the short travel shock, just 107mm, has to work hard and can feel bouncy. Drive hard and you can clearly feel the rear end of the bike jack up though, a result of the torque reaction from the shaft drive being unchecked by any kind of parallelogram setup. The Rocket 3 comes in two flavors, Roadster R and Touring GT, with the main difference being riding position. The R has a higher seat, mid-set foot pegs and narrower bars, giving a more aggressive street fighter stance, while the GT's lower seat, feet-forward controls and wider, higher bars give a relaxed, cruiser feel. Everything is transferable between the bikes, meaning you can create whatever kind of muscle-power touring cruiser you like. Into the bin goes the Rocket 3's 2,294 cubic centimeters triple, replaced by this all-new, gruntier, smoother, cleaner, stronger and smaller 2,458 cubic centimeters engine. Huge 110.2mm pistons eclipse the old 101.6mm items, while stroke is significantly reduced, down from 94.3 to 85.9mm, allowing Triumph to make a shorter motor. Peak torque is identical to the previous Rocket 3 Roadster, at 163 lb-ft, but the new motor holds onto that grunt for longer as revs climb. Where the previous Rocket's torque curve fell away sharply above 2500 RPM, the new motor has a much fatter, flatter delivery. As a result, headline power is up to 165 brake horsepower. But as ludicrous as that might sound, the reality is that it's immensely easy to use. All that prodigious power is carefully controlled by the ride-by-wire throttle and predictive, lean-sensitive traction control, while output is restricted in lower gears and top speed is electronically limited to 138 miles per hour. It's a beast, but one of those big, fluffy, gentle, cuddly chaps from a Disney film. The colossal torque spread means you can ride it however you like. Plunk it in one gear and dip into the immense grunt from 2500 to 5500 RPM if you're feeling lazy, or chase the 7,000 RPM redline and work the new sweet-shifting 6-speed gearbox for maximum thrills. There's even an optional two-way quickshifter in Triumph's accessory catalog, if you like changing clutchlessly. It's a completely new machine from nose to tail, so only time and miles will deliver a verdict on reliability. Service intervals are set at a car like 10,000 miles, suggesting the motor is in a fairly mild state of tune and Triumph have confidence in it. Looking over the bike in the metal, everything appears high quality, as you'd expect for 20,000 pounds. The exhaust headers are a particular highlight. The welds look neat, while the hydroformed curves are apparently a huge pain to produce. Everything seems tucked away neatly, there are no vulgar cables or hoses dangling about anywhere, and wiring runs inside the handlebars. Details like the Monza-style petrol, coolant and oil filler caps are pleasing, while the clever flip-out pillion pegs are a neat design. Our Triumph Rocket 3 owner's reviews show there have been some issues for some buyers, in particular corrosion, electrical and mechanical problems. Seemingly the rear brake can often stop working, for example, and needs attention from a dealer. Have a good read through before going for a test ride. Clearly it's not a cheap bike, though an ultra-capacity extreme muscle cruiser never was going to be. The Rocket 3R is 19,500 pounds on the road. That includes almost all the gadgets, apart from the two-way quickshifter and the heated grips. The GT version, which includes the heated grips, a fly screen and a pillion backrest, is 20,200 pounds. Both are roughly on a par with Ducati's Diavel 1260S, 20,041 pounds. A Harley-Davidson Fat Bob 114 starts at 15,825 pounds, but doesn't have a fraction of the Triumph's tech, torque, pose or poise. If you want to go properly left field, a Moto Guzzi MGX21 is 19,999 pounds. Running costs probably won't be any kinder on the wallet. Triumph claimed the motor returns 41 miles per gallon, but our test ride suggests it's closer to 35 miles per gallon. That 240 section, 16-inch rear tire isn't cheap either. Sign picking the bike up in March. I have had a headlight replaced under warranty, main beam sticking on, and the second which has really put me off was the rear brake losing all braking power. It has been back to my dealer who changed the fluid for a better one but was told that Triumph know there is an issue and they are working on it. I thought anything to do with brakes on a 163 pounds of torque monster would be the #1 agenda. First service only. The fuel economy is not bad so far, 43 to 45 miles per gallon. That is with occasional spirited riding thrown in. 2 stars is because after 6 months I was offered 13,500 pounds from the dealer to buy it back. Even WBAB offered considerably more, so not much faith in the brand and will likely be going back to BMW. Equipment. The Brembo brakes are top-notch. The stopping power and feel is superb, the ride comfort is less so. I am a big old guy and no matter how I try to adjust the rear suspension the ride is harsh on anything but smooth tarmac. The roads in Herefordshire where I live are amongst the worst in the UK and backache sets in after about 2 hours. I have purchased an Airhawk DS seat pad which has transformed the comfort but it's still not all day comfy like my old Rocket. The tank is so wide you have to ride legs apart which at motorway speeds the wind blast makes your hips ache trying to keep tucked in. In the end I made and fitted a pair of Perspex front fork air deflectors to solve the discomfort. I didn't go for the quick shifter or the navigation package as for me they don't offer much in the way of the overall riding experience. The Tft display is good but on some settings it is too fussy and hard to read. I opt for the screen that shows speed, revs, gear selection and fuel status. That's enough for me. There are a few niggles with this bike that could be better. The original screen doesn't give much wind protection and the rear hugger design is total crap. In the rain you get covered in road crud halfway up your back. I bought an aftermarket hugger which left some wiring exposed so I ended up fitting this over the top of the original hugger, problem solved. I purchased the accessory panniers and rear rack to give the bike some touring capability. These panniers are okay but are quite small and are not as rigid as I would have liked. The optional rear rack is stated as only good for 3 kilograms, which means fitting my fully loaded Kuryakin Grand Tour bag on the rear may be more than it can withstand. Guess I will soon find out, as there is little room on the Pillion seat. One of the best design features on this bike are the fold-away Pillion foot pegs and the folding pannier mounts. If anyone is thinking about buying this bike for some serious touring, then you will need a few aftermarket bits to iron out its touring limitations.